All right, we're about to dive into how you can take that one objection every salesperson dreads and turn it into your biggest win. Ready? Let's get started.
Oh man, we have all been there, right? The call is going great, you're building rapport, everything feels perfect, and then, bam, you hear those words. I know, it feels like hitting a brick wall.
But here's the thing. What if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? What if hearing that phrase isn't a dead end at all? What if it's actually an open door, an invitation to really dig in, prove your value, and build some serious trust? That's the mental shift we're going to make today.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll tackle the price objection head-on. Then, we'll get into the right mindset. After that, I'll give you a new conversation blueprint and a framework for handling objections. We'll also look at how to make your value visual and finally, how to measure what actually matters.
Okay, first things first, we have to completely reframe how we think about this objection. Seriously, instead of that sinking feeling in your stomach when you hear it, you should actually welcome it. Why? Because a price objection means the conversation just got real. They're actually considering it.
And here's the most important insight, right here. When a prospect brings up price, they are not saying no. What they're really saying is, okay, I'm interested, but you need to show me why it's worth this much. See? It's your big chance to stop arguing about cost and start a real conversation about the value you bring to the table.
So how do we actually grab that opportunity? Well, it all starts with a pretty big shift in your mindset. You've got to stop thinking of yourself as someone who just pitches a product and start seeing yourself as a partner to your client.
And you can see the difference right here. On one side, you have transactional selling. That's all about quick sales, moving units. You're basically an order taker. But on the other side, you have consultative selling. And this is a whole different ballgame. Here, you're a strategic partner, an advisor. Your main focus is on your customer's success, not just hitting your numbers.
And believe me, the payoff for making this shift is huge. You're not just chasing one-off deals anymore. You're building lasting relationships. Real loyalty. This is what boosts customer lifetime value and creates a foundation of trust that's going to bring you referrals and repeat business for years.
Okay, so we've got the right mindset. Now what? How do we actually structure the conversation? Well, let's get practical. I want to introduce you to a really effective step-by-step blueprint. It's called the Closer Framework.
Think of this framework as your roadmap for the entire sales call. And check out the flow here. You don't just jump into the pitch. No, you start by understanding their world first. You clarify why they're even talking to you. You label their problem. You find out what they've tried in the past. It's only after all that groundwork that you start selling the outcome, handling their concerns, and reinforcing their decision. The whole thing is built on a foundation of empathy.
I love this line because it just perfectly sums up value selling. Think about it. Nobody really cares about the engine specs or the wingspan of the airplane. They care about the warm sand and the blue water they're flying to. So when you focus on the outcome, the vacation, the price of the plane ticket suddenly doesn't seem like such a big deal. You're connecting with them on an emotional level, not a logical one.
Okay, so you're doing a great job selling the vacation, but they're still hung up on the price of the flight. What do you do now? Don't worry, we've got a simple but really powerful method for handling that pushback right in the moment. This is the A method, and it's your go-to move here. It's 3 simple steps. First, acknowledge their concern. Say something like, I get it, that's a significant investment. This just shows you're actually listening. Next, you associate their concern with a positive outcome. Something like, it's funny, a lot of our best clients felt the exact same way at first. But what they found was, and finally, you ask for the sale again. But this time it's not pushy. It's coming from a place of understanding.
Now this question right here, it's a total game changer. It's not aggressive or confrontational, it's collaborative. It instantly changes the conversation from, your price is too high, to, okay, let's actually compare the value here. Because what are they comparing it to? A cheaper, maybe lower quality competitor? Or are they comparing it to the massive hidden cost of just doing nothing?
And that leads us to this powerful question. This one really makes them stop and think. It forces them to actually calculate the cost of inaction. All that wasted time, the missed opportunities, the day-to-day frustration, that stuff has a real price tag. And when they see it that way, your solution is no longer just an expense, it's an investment to stop a much bigger ongoing problem.
This one is just a brilliant tactical question because it helps you diagnose what the real issue is. See, a budget issue and a cash flow issue are 2 totally different problems. If it's budget, maybe you need to build a stronger ROI case. If it's cash flow, maybe you can get creative with payment terms.
The point is, you can't solve the problem until you know what it actually is.
But at the end of the day, all these frameworks and questions, they're just tools. Real, unshakable confidence doesn't come from memorizing a bunch of scripts. It comes from actually doing it, getting in the game, learning from every single call, and having a deep, genuine belief in the value you're bringing to the table.
So, how do you take that value that you believe in so strongly and make it tangible for your prospect? Well, sometimes the best thing you can do is just ditch the polished PowerPoint and grab a marker. Whiteboarding is an incredibly powerful way to make your value visual and, more importantly, memorable.
And this isn't just a gimmick. There's real science backing this up. It's called the picture superiority effect. It basically says our brains are hardwired to remember pictures way, way better than words. So when you draw something out, you're not just presenting information, you're literally embedding your message into their memory.
Plus, the simple act of drawing with them creates this collaborative energy. It feels like you're solving the problem together. It makes your message feel more credible, more engaging. Honestly, a simple whiteboard session can cut through all the noise and help you build trust and even shorten that sales cycle.
Okay, so you've shifted your mindset, you've got these new frameworks and techniques, but how do you know if any of it is actually working? You need a super simple but powerful way to measure what you're doing and the results you're getting.
And this is it. The lapse report. It is brutally simple, and that's why it works. Leads, appointments, presentations, and sales. That's it. Just by tracking these 4 numbers every week, you get a crystal clear picture of your entire sales funnel. In this example, you can see how 10 leads turned into 6 appointments, which led to 3 presentations, and finally, 1 sale.
Looking at this, that 33% conversion rate from presentation to sale, that's a really important number. The beauty of the lapse report is that it instantly tells you where your process is strong and, more importantly, where it's breaking down. For example, if you've got tons of leads but you're not getting appointments, you don't have a closing problem. You have a prospecting problem. It points you exactly where you need to focus your energy.
So, let's wrap this up. Mastering the price objection was never about winning an argument. It's about leading a totally different and better conversation. A conversation that's built on confidence, empathy, and a crystal clear demonstration of your value. You now have the mindset, the frameworks, and the tools to do it. So the only real question left is, what conversation are you going to change first?